Hey guys, this is going to be a tutorial on how to learn anything you want with chatgpt. It's basically built on the idea that you are capable of learning anything, provided that you provide a simplistic enough groundwork for the subject that you want to learn. So here is the example that I'm going to use, and that is why things fly. Explain why a plane takes flight. Now, the answer it gave me took 10 seconds, if that, and here's all of the aspects of flight. But let's just pretend that I didn't like that answer. It threw me off. I knew there was something I didn't understand. What you are missing here is a simplistic enough entrance point to the subject. You have to get simplistic enough to understand the subject in order to get complex enough to get good at the subject, if that makes sense. I hope it does. So what I've done here, and you can phrase this however you want, I just use this as, for the most part, because I like it. It provides me with the answers I want when I want to learn a new subject. Explain the same thing to a 12-year-old and define any aeronautics terms. Sure, I'll explain it to a 12-year-old. And it just goes on, and it does so in more simplistic terms, and you can scale it down. You could literally say, okay, thank you. Well, you don't have to thank it, but you could say, okay, too complex, can you please use simpler language? You can keep whittling it down to more simplistic ideas, and anytime you don't understand a concept, perhaps there's something that can be simplified. Like, you don't understand the concept of drag. You ask about that. Please explain drag more simplistic terms, and then you get it to expand on that. And what you're doing is you're building a foundation. Any good building, it has a strong foundation, and that's what you have to do with your subjects. This is also pretty handy for when you're in a class and maybe you don't want to interrupt. You can take a note and write it down, or maybe even slide the phone under the desk and get your own clarification. Um, if you don't think that asking the question would provide any good for you, I'm sure there are teachers out there that don't answer questions well, or perhaps um, perhaps they're a little rushed or whatever, or maybe you feel like you shouldn't ask that question at that time. Whatever. Doesn't matter. What matters is you're the one trying to learn, so you're the one that needs that question answered. So here's a way to do it. Anyways, you get the point. And so here is, as I continued along, I'm like, oh, I ran into an interesting word I wanted to know more about. Explain streamlined to a 12-year-old. And basically, you can read this if you want, just pause here and do so. But here's the answer it gave me. And then I went in and got a little more complex, explained physics. Let's pretend you didn't know what physics was, which, by the way, definitely is the governing subject of aeronautics. So I said, well, explain physics to a 12-year-old. You can just keep doing this and digging in until you're satisfied with the answers you get. You'll know when you have a good foundation for a subject, mainly because you're interested in the subject. Anyways, just a quick tutorial for you. I hope it does you well, and I hope you see that there's a use for this. This is a very good tool. People talk too much about weaponizing AI, but no one is looking at exploiting it for some good. And this is something that it does very well. It provides, as an educational tool, it provides students with simplistic answers, and it can get as simplistic or complex as you want. And you could go to town learning any subjects and just build up and up and up and succeed the whole way, because you can sit there having a nice two-way conversation with an AA that don't give a crap how dumb your question is or how dumb you feel your question is. So there you go. I wish you the best.